Hello, it's Gene again. I decided that I'm going to do a second crazy female video. Um, since the last one got almost over 70 views, which is a lot for me, but didn't get a whole lot of comments though. So if you have any comments at the end, tell me that I'm a misogynist or whatever, that's fine. I just look at things and try to be fair and balanced as I can. And I do understand that some what I'm going to say is not really controversial, but when people say things, which I'm going to talk about, and everybody just lets it go because it's okay, then sometimes I have a problem with that. So I'm going to go on. There'll be three that I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to start off with the woman who made the most money in Hollywood last year. That was Jennifer Lawrence. She made over $50 million last year, and good for her. I'm all for capitalism. I've been a fan of hers since she was starred and won the Academy Award, I believe, for this role. This was still her best movie when she actually showed that she could act. Recently, through Hunger Games and other things, that haven't really seen that in her anymore. It's really funny. She was talking to the feminist icon, quote unquote pedophile, Lena Dunham, and she said some things about the pay and that she didn't negotiate well, and was upset because other men got better than she did. People like Jeremy Renner and Bradley Cooper. And before we go past that, what is this deal with her and Bradley Cooper? I think they've been in now 5, maybe 6 movies together. Not that there's an issue with it. If there was always this issue before, maybe because Bradley is supposedly going to help all these women to negotiate their contracts more. And somebody needs also to tell me why an actor would be in a boardroom with the producers negotiating their salary. I would think that would be the agent or a lawyer or something like that. But I'm going to try to read some of her quotes. Now, what happens is what she said about the quote-unquote pay gap in Hollywood. What she said certain things that did not get picked up to the main street press because they were very sexist in nature. So they just took out that and just basically said that she didn't negotiate as well, and she's going to learn from that. So I'm going to say a few things that she said, and I'll talk about it, and then we'll move on to the next one. Now, this is talking to Lena Dunham, so she knew that she was with somebody that would listen to whatever type of bullshit she had to say. I'm going to try to say this. It makes it hard. So, I want to make sure I get the parts, because there's several parts in here. Okay, she basically says that she was too nice when she was negotiating, and that because she was a young woman that she didn't feel like she needed to do it. You know, the whole thing about can't really say anybody is bossy because they won't be able to say anything. But this is what she said. It's hard for me to speak about my experience as a working woman because I safely say my problems aren't really relatable to everybody in the world because she makes more money than pretty every woman in the United States. So when the hack happened, of course, her shit was found, but no one cares that Beeper's penis was around, and all the feminists were like going, "Oh my God, he has a nice penis." Nobody wanted to, stop that from happening. I found out that I was making less than I was making. I found out how much that I was making paid less than. I'm gonna say this right. I found how much less I was getting paid than the lucky people with dicks. Instead of saying that the two people the people that she talks about in this already had series that was making big money, Batman, and Rainer is with Born Identity. She says the lucky people with dicks. Again, she's talking to somebody who will listen to this and not say anything about it, but if obviously I was in that room, I'd say that's sexist. Continuing on. She goes, I didn't get mad at Sony. I got mad at myself, which she should. I failed as a negotiator because I gave up early. I didn't want to keep fighting over millions of dollars that, frankly, two franchises I did not need. I told you it wasn't. Don't hate me. Now, when she was this is she's talking about American Hustle, and at that point she was not the big huge star. I mean, she had an Academy Award, so she was somewhat marketable, but she was not the star in that movie. She's wanting to get as much money. I think Paltrow did the same thing about Iron Man. He has the girlfriend who has about 2 seconds of time. She wanted to have not as much as the star of the show. This is you want to talk about it. Oh, maybe you should negotiate better, and maybe she could have paid better. But when Paltrow said what she said, this is just the stupidity of these people. Now I'll continue on. I'll continue on. It says that men who are mega rich like her don't worry about hurting feelings to get more money. I would be honest with myself. I'd be lying if I didn't say there wasn't an element of wanting me to be liked, then influence my decision to close down the deal without a real fight. So she didn't want to be looked at as somebody that's bossy. Again, I don't understand why she would be doing it herself. Makes no sense. Even at that time, she had an agent who should have done that for her, and told her this is what I want. I doubt that she was really in the room with the person trying to, negotiate her deal. That just makes no sense to me. So continuing on, I don't think I'm the only one. I am the only woman with this issue. Are we socially conditioned to behave this way? Well, of course we are. According to feminists, everything is as a social construct. Okay, we'll continue on now. She says she's done being cutesy. Of course she is. She has every right to go in and say, this is what I want, because she's bankable right now based on Hunger Games. Now, I want to be 100% true with this. She would not make no money with any other franchise. She doesn't have that. She doesn't. She was picked for that. She should thank her lucky stars, just like Kristen Stewart for Twilight, because these women will not make any other money from anywhere else because they're not very good actors. She was good in Wind and Born, and she has not changed. They're so similar, the two of them. But I'm not going to go with talent. I mean, she should do what she needs to do. If she feels she's profitable, she should try to go for that. It says, I find I'm over trying to be the adorable way to state my opinion and still be likable. Fuck that. I don't think I ever wanted. I don't think I ever worked for a man in charge who spent time complaining about what angle he should have to do to get his voice heard. I just heard Jeremy Renner, Crystal Bale, Bradley Cooper all fight and succeed in a negotiation power deals for themselves. Well, there's a reason why they had that. I mean, Bradley Cooper had just come off the biggest comedy in history, and it was going into the second or third film. Even though they sucked, it's made a lot of money. So he had that in his background. She didn't have it at this point. She does now, and this is why. It's so stupidity, because the only reason she's acting like she's going to be so empowered because she has Hunger Games behind her and X-Men, which she was part of. If anything, I'm sure they were commended for being fierce and tactical. Yeah, you beat me. I paid you another $1 million. Oh, let me thank your freaking hand for that. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for just destroying me in the boardroom. I don't think that happened either. While I was being worried about coming across as a brat and not getting my fair share, her fair share. In American Hustle, are you fucking kidding me? She should, when it comes to the Hunger Games, she should be the number one. She should be the top paid person in it. She is the star of the movie. But not like Emma Watson would think she should have the same thing as Harry Potter had, or the other person that was at the same level in their movie. And that's another thing about that. Every time that comes up, Emma never responds to that, because she tries to make it sound like they don't get as much as the men do, which is bullshit. It says, again, this might have nothing to do with me having a vagina. So again, there's another, basically, that's sexist. But I wasn't wrong when another leak email revolved a producer referring to a lead actress and saying that she was a spoiled brat, more as a spoiled brat. For some reason, I just don't picture someone saying that about a man. No, they would say he's a dick or he's hard to work with. I mean, really, let's go back. Bruce Willis has always been considered unbelievably hard to work with, but he was bankable, so they take him in. Same thing with Kevin Costner's. I mean, it's like they're like in this little bubble that they understand that everybody gets things said about them, especially when it comes with the people that are actors are so full of themselves because they've told all along, especially when they get big, that they're the greatest thing since Sliced Fred. And so, I mean, again, I watched the last Hunger Games. I've been waiting till the new one comes out and watch those two at the same time. This last one, she did some better. her portrayal was a little bit better, but she still looked like Kristen Stewart. She just sits around and looks downtrodden. But now when I look back, when I look at this one, and this was the first time I'd seen her, and I was like, I was blown away. But it's the same. This is the same actor. So I can't compare her to, certainly not to Kristen Bell, who started with Psycho or American Psycho and became Batman. I mean, come on, these are billion-dollar franchises. She's had one. Good for her. I guess you could say X-Men is in there as well. Okay, so let's go on to the next one because this was taking way too long. And of course, what does she care? I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but sometimes she just needs to go on. It's anyway, none of that got reported. This part about the dicks and the vaginas, that didn't get in the basic news. They just talked about, well, the hack came out and I realized I wasn't getting as much as they were because I got 7% and I got 9%. And I'm like, is that real? Comparing you to them and they only gave you 2% more or 2% less, I think that was fair, to be honest. Now you probably could say, other than Bale, you probably would get the most between those. So anyway, but I still don't understand the fact that, I mean, Cooper's coming out to help them. Women, of course, Renner just said, I'm not going to do it. They need to be able to do it themselves. And, you remember Renner got in trouble because he said one of the characters was a slut. And of course, everybody had to apologize, even though everybody knew that it was a joke. Anyway, the next one, we're going to talk about Gabby Giffords. And of course, I have nothing against this woman. I mean, she got shot. But she has this new thing. And this last couple weeks ago, she started sending stuff. And I've been following her on Facebook since she got shot. And she's talking about having these councils for, of course, whenever a woman asks for something like this, it happens. So they went to Washington D.C. and talking about that gun violence against women is a women's issue. And I posted it. I said, that makes no sense. It kills men 6 times more than it kills women. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about everybody, And I was just getting, all the white knights came out and came at me and started saying I was a misogynist because I said things like that. And I'm like, okay, let me look at when she was killed, didn't get killed, she was injured. There were 6 people that were killed during that time. Unfortunately, one was a kid, female, but there was 3 men killed and 3 females killed. Clearly, she would know from that own shooting that this was not a gendered issue. It's even though women only face 1/6 of the ones killed by gun each year. Obviously, if they were going to have a committee, and we were talking about males killing, kill people and males being killed, and that we would talk about females, but everything on her Facebook is coming on, and I'm following it, and it just keeps saying it, a women's issue and all this stuff, and I'm like, why? It's a human's issue. So I'll put that down, about the community and, and the links below. But here as a guy, I've been waiting for what, I don't know, since I got into this movement, that we'll have a committee that looks at suicide because men kill themselves 4 times more than men or women. And we want to talk about gun violence. Can we talk at it about from a male's perspective as well? I mean, I'm not saying she's a feminist because she's not. Even though she's a liberal, very moderate liberal. I wouldn't say that she's a feminist, but I think that she had a real opportunity, just like Rousey had with male suicide, to say, I was involved in something like this, but I have friends that were male that were killed as well, and we shouldn't just say that it's a women's issue. Why do we keep doing this? We're humans. I don't get it. And finally, I want to talk about probably one of the bigger feminists online right now who are celebrities. There are several things I could say about her, but Olivia Wilde, of course, I loved her when she was in House. But she says some certain things, and I'm going to try to say what she had to say as well. Let me show you this first, what Gabby said. Too many women are dying from gun violence. Now, every statistic says that all that has come down the last 20 years. But men are still 6 times more than women that get killed by guns. But that doesn't come up because we're disposable, and everybody knows this. So I'll go ahead and link that below. And I'm also going to put the shooting, the victims and all that. So Mr. Or Mrs. Miss Wilde is finally directing, and she talks, that it's so difficult for women to do anything in Hollywood. So somehow she did well. So I'll link that as well. Where was it? That okay. So this is okay. Now EW is interviewing her. And she says this: Hollywood is so male driven. There are so many strong females behind this product, which is great. Again, we always have to say this. We have to say that they're strong females. I don't understand that, but okay. Can you just say there are a lot of great women behind the project? Anyway, did you find that you ran into colleges? Oh, this was actually a. Oh, I guess she's there with someone else. You. This was actually a her response is, I do think that certainly think there was a business challenge in terms of getting women to be in women. In terms of how it helped us is that women are natural multitaskers, that we handle crises in a natural way. This was not an easy project to pull over, but it felt very smooth, like a very calm set in a very positive environment. And I credit that to our team. She means women. I think that it's something to do with how handle problems. That's why women's make great detectives and great producers. Okay, that may be true. Now, looking at the first thing is, a couple of people said some things, and everybody comes up and says they're all socialists, chauvinists. Just there's the myth that women are better multitasking because they somehow can hold on to taking care of the house and have a job. and that their emotions are settled. I don't mean stereotypically, but there's more than enough proof out there that says women are much more run on their emotions than men are. And when it comes to directing and producing, it's possible that men might be somewhat better at that. So, I mean, what I would say for her, and this is a very small thing that she did, and I just want to put her in there, is if this was said by me about, and I was changing the things around and said it's true that men are to be a director is probably better because we don't use our emotions so much that we can get things done. We're not just hung up in the details of whether something's going on. You know what would happen. I'd lose my job. And it's great that they can say that. They have impunity. That's all I have today. I know I kind of petered out at the end there. That happens to me because of my brain issues. But thank you for listening. If you have any comments, just let me know at the end. And share it if you wish. And like if you want to. Other than that, have a good day. Bye.